What's up guys, Brad here with Shiny Tech Things, where we tech things seriously. And on today's show, we're going to be doing a unboxing of a Dell Inspiron 7000 series. Now this is a 2-in-1 and it is model 7405 in Sandstorm with a 14-inch Full HD touch display. It's powered by the AMD Ryzen 5 4500U. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, a 256 gig SSD, and Radeon graphics. Now it comes with Windows 10 Home, and it also has Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth, an SD card reader, HDMI, and USB Type-C. The keyboard is backlit, and it also has a fingerprint reader. Now before we get started, I typically release technical videos or unboxings of different shiny tech things, pun intended, just like this laptop here. For a quick rundown, I'm going to do a very fast unboxing, first boot experience, and the design of the laptop. I'll go over all of the preloaded software that came on the machine and how much I had to uninstall. I'll talk about the screen quality, the ports on the chassis and the power plug, the trackpad and keyboard, battery life, and the speakers, and then finally who this laptop might appeal to. I will have chapters down in the description if you want to check that out, but I highly advise you to hang on and just watch the whole thing all the way through. And then if you need to repeat anything, then click on the chapters, as it'll probably answer most questions that you might have. Now again, if you are new to my channel, I answer all the questions on my channel myself. So go ahead and drop a question down below, or just leave a comment and tell me what you like most about this review. Now let's unbox this. Here we have the charger, the power cord, some silica gel, and the laptop. Got some manuals down here inside the box as well. It's a very nice feel to it in the build quality. And it folds all the way over, so it's like a tablet. Let's boot her up. So a little bit about my first boot experience on this machine. I did have to go ahead and install a handful of Windows updates for about the past 6 months. So the fastest way to do that is to just use the Windows 10 upgrade tool. And I'll have a link somewhere here on the screen once I release that video. So make sure that you're subscribed so you won't miss a beat. So after installing all of the drivers and Windows updates, then the next thing that I did is used Dell's Support Assist software to go ahead and have it check Dell's site automatically for you to go ahead and download and install all the latest drivers and firmware. Taking a look at all the preloaded software, you can see you have all of the Dell software that it comes with here, so the Support Assist, Power Manager, and stuff for drivers. Then you got the fingerprint reader. Now for third-party applications, you have McAfee LiveSafe and WebAdvisor. Many users opt to go ahead and remove those, and depending on if you like McAfee software or not, you may or may not keep that. And everything else is just basically standard, although you do have the Microsoft Visual C++ 2015 redistributable pack, which is most likely a prerequisite to run one of the Dell applications that was preloaded. So overall, it's not too bad. Microsoft with Windows 10 has been bundling Microsoft 365 preloaded, and that's about it. Now the screen on this is a IPS display, so it does have pretty good viewing angles, so that when you go ahead and turn it into a convertible or a tablet, that you can view it at pretty much any angle. Now for the ports on the chassis, you have the power port, HDMI, standard USB 3, and then you have a USB-C that supports DisplayPort and power delivery. Now flipping it around here on the right side, you have a SD card slot, another USB 3 port, and a headphone jack. Now if you haven't seen 2-in-1 before, this is pretty slick. Are you ready? There we go. So now that I have it in tablet mode, go ahead and pull up a website. You can see it's pretty slick on the navigation. Now the trackpad on this is actually very good. And again, at this price point, you typically expect it to be pretty decent to begin with, but it is very responsive. It has a great click feel to it and sound of the click as well. Now the keyboard on this has a pretty good feel. It is very nice to the touch, and as you can see, it is backlit as well. And you can turn that off if you like. And the chassis feels like it's aluminum, so there's not really a whole lot of flex, which just means that you're going to get nice and even feel across the keyboard as you're typing on it. For the next test, I'm going to go ahead and record using the microphone right next to the speakers here on the side, so you can hear how the sound is as I turn it up and down. And as you can hear, there was a little bit of distortion towards the maximum volume setting. It's not the best sound that I've heard on a laptop, but it's definitely not the worst, and it does get relatively loud. If you are in a relatively close room, you should still be able to hear the sound if you were going to be playing some music or listening to a video on Netflix or another streaming service. Depending on what you're going to be using the laptop for, if you're going to be like surfing the web and streaming some videos, you'll probably get about 2 hours and 45 minutes, just under 3 hours on it here. It has a 40 watt hour battery. So who is this laptop for? With the flexibility to be able to go ahead and turn it into a tablet, I would say business professionals and students with a budget starting as low as $800, this is a pretty good model to go ahead and take a look at. Now, spec'd at $800, it only has 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of NVMe storage. Are you wondering how upgradable this is? So am I. So let's crack it open. Now here you can see a 40 watt hour battery, and inside the chassis it's got some space in here. I'm willing to bet you could probably find another battery from Dell that will fit this to give you an extended battery. Now here is the M.2 NVMe drive, and then it looks like right up here you have the memory. So here is a slot that is open, and here's a slot that is in use. You get your processor, heatsink and heat pipe, and fan.